Ambassador, and I thank you very much. It's lovely to see you again.
It's great to be connected with Malta again, even under these difficult circumstances.
Absolutely. I was just speaking to you just before we started. You commute from Washington to Cleveland and other places, but you're in lockdown in Cleveland at the moment.
That's correct.
And how is it for you? How is it? How is Cleveland in these times, in these dreadful times?
Yes, well, unlike some of the other places around the world and in the United States, Cleveland, Ohio, has done what we consider a fairly good job of managing the pandemic. Our leadership here locked the state down early. So I have been at home for going on 2 months now.
Yes.
The economic impact has been difficult for many people around the world, of course. And our cases have been kept fairly low, and the state is beginning to reopen. That said, we do have to be careful how we do it, and it depends on the behavior of our citizens to wear masks, to keep socially distanced, and to put the greater good ahead of our own desires.
Yes. So it's very interesting that it varies from one state to the other. It depends how it's managed locally, very much.
Yes.
Yes.
Unfortunately, we have not had strong and consistent leadership nationally to give us the information we need to do the best job. So each state, even each mayor sometimes has had to put in place specific requirements. And that has hindered how well we deal with this virus.
Yes.
But we're a huge country. We are quite used to doing, I don't want to say as we like, but having local control. And this can be a benefit and it can be a hindrance. So last week, for instance, I was working a food pantry with masks, with gloves, with social distancing, but trying to help the people who, because they cannot go to work, are really suffering economically.
Yes, and you've seen quite a lot of that around. What are your views? The deaths all over the USA have been very high, and the UK is obviously following.
Yes.
What are, you've obviously heard how well we're doing in Malta, obviously you've heard that. What do you think was the main problem in the States?
Well, a number of things. At the beginning, there was a failure of leadership to take it as seriously as it needed to be taken. That set us back some time. Then there is this challenge of being such a big country that there will be different views on how best to address. So at the beginning, we were told that masks weren't necessary. Now we understand there is benefit to wearing them. So
Yes.
people are trying to do the best they can. But when you have a country of 300 million plus people, it is very difficult to have the sorts of control that you might in a smaller country. And certainly a country that is small like Malta, where people can get the information quickly, it's consistently from one source, and people can follow through.
Yes, it's more controllable.
Are trying to do the best.
Yes. I quote here former Vice President Joe Biden, who actually said a scenario in which one must prioritize the economy separately from public health is a forced choice. And I just wondered what your comments are about that.
Well, I think that makes sense. You can't say that you want the economy open and people are losing their lives to make that happen. It's going to be a difficult time for many, many people economically. And we as a nation and indeed the world are going to have to help each other through this. We'll have to figure out a way. And many countries are addressing the economic issues in different ways. So we can all look around and see what's working and what isn't. But it's a false choice. We first have to take care of the people. The people are the economy.
Yes, the health comes first, always comes first. You served yourself in many oil-rich countries. And we've obviously seen the price of oil go down, I mean, drastically. How do you think that's going to develop?
Well, it's going to make a difference at what level you're looking at. Certainly for the consumer, there will be an appreciation of fees for oil. That makes a difference with how much they have to pay to heat their homes. I can tell you this morning in Cleveland, Ohio, where I am, it snowed, which is very unusual for me. So my heat is on.
Your heat is...
It's going to make a difference in the cost. Yes, yes.
Yes.
So if you're paying less for petrol, for heating oil, for the consumer, that's good. But for others in the industry at higher levels, that's going to have a cost and will make an impact on those who produce oil, those who ship oil, those who refine oil. And those are big industries. So it's going to be a mixed bag.
Yes, but obviously right now, especially people who are in need and are without jobs are benefiting in Cleveland from the drop in the price of oil.
That is correct.
Yes.
That is correct.
Yes.
For those who can move around, for many of us, if we're at home, we're not driving our cars. So.
No, exactly. How do you see the problem with the airlines? How do you see that eventually picking up again? It's going to take a long time, obviously.
Yes. It's important to remember, all of us, that in every crisis there are winners and losers. And those who either by luck, when you talk about Zoom, for instance, or they're in the right industry. Airlines, cruise lines, those are industries that are going to have to figure out a new way of doing business. We've heard about airlines leaving the center seat clear to allow for additional social distancing, for people to feel safe and secure to get on an airline or indeed any public transportation. We are going to have to figure out a way of doing business in a different way, in a new way. And I think these changes are going to be long lasting. I'm hoping that in some countries where we don't have health care, we don't have automatic sick leave, that we're going to be able to make some changes that we see are needed now, that they're going to be for the long term. But all of us are going to have to do things differently.
Obviously, the positive thing that COVID has brought is the benefits to the environment. What are your views about that? I mean, is it something that perhaps we can take more note of in the future?
I hope we will. The double-edged sword of this is that the sky is clear going on. People aren't too. We must allow these benefits to at the other end. We will do business a little bit differently. People will notice that there are improvements and try and imitate them.
Yes, we'll be a bit kinder to the economy. Just to close, Ambassador, would you convey a message to the people of Malta who are very fond of you when you were here?
Malta, my heart, and I wish you all the best of luck during this difficulty. I know as a nation, you're very cohesive and can stand together, but it is also important that we take care of the other through this, so that at the end of this, we end up in a better place, the more compassionate outlook on the world.
Ambassador, thank you very much. I wish you a very good evening and stay safe. Thank you very much for your time. I was with Ambassador Emeritus Gina Abercrombie Winstanley, who's now based again in the USA. I thank you very much for being with me. I'm Leah Hogg for Net News. I'll see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Good evening.